Hello, everybody. Okay, so today we continue with the lesson on a little categorical logic. This is a tool we use in order to check validity of arguments. Okay, and let's see whether you can remember the things we studied last time. So last time we focused on what? Yeah, so we focus on the categorical statements. We need to understand, okay, statements. And you can see the statements, the things are grouped into category. Remember, for example, we have like things like handsome man, loyal man, romantic man. Then handsome man is like the category, the group of people who are men and they are handsome. Loyal man is the same. Yeah, the community of men and they are loyal people, something like that. Then we just we just group the things, put the things into groups, then it can be easier for us to see the overlapping, and then we are going to check validity. Okay, yeah. And you can see we also learned the four standard categorical statements. We have on SRP, no SRP, some SRP, and some S are not P, right? And you can see we also analyze the standard categorical statements. It means we see, okay, the elements or the components of a categorical statement. And there should be four basic parts, remember? The first one, there should be the signal on, no, or some. Remember? And then, the second thing is that there should be a subject term, or we say S. A subject here, it can be a noun or it can be a noun phrase, but it should be a group. Okay, I say a class. For example, handsome men, rich people, beautiful people, expensive things. So we have the group, something like that. And answer number three, there should be a predicate term. The predicate, it serves exactly the same as the subject term. It's also a noun phrase or a noun, and it should be a category. And the last component, the last part, is a copular or a linking verb. Here I say is to be. In reality, okay, it is not always that we have the standard categorical form, right? Then we have to transform the non-standard categorical statements into the standard categorical statements. And we have learned, I say, the 5 tips, in order to translate or to transform or to turn the non-standard form into the standard form. Number one, you can rephrase all of the non-standard subject and predicate term, then they can refer to classes. For example, we have all actors are vain. Vain is an adjective. That's the feature, that's the characteristic. It is not the community, is not a group. And then it refers to actors, and actors are people. Then you can say all actors are vain people. Or I say some roses are white. White, again, it is used to describe the kind of flowers, because we are talking about roses. Is it right? Then in this case, we can say some roses are white flowers. Now let's move on. The second tip is that you can rephrase all of the non-standard verbs to are or are not. We use plural, remember, because it's a group. Some students are persons who walk to school. I give you the structure here. Then when you have the verb, you can use a verb. Then you turn to are persons who. Then some students are persons who walk to school. So in case you have maybe past participle or adjective, like all of the northern counties were flooded, then you say all the northern counties are places that were flooded. Mhm. And then tip number 3, sometimes we don't see the quantifiers, the signals. Yeah, it is something like implicit. Then it is very important to write the signals down. Then you can have the standard form, right? Then consider when you write on or some. Be charitable. When you are unsure, use some. Like we have, bankers are conservatives. Are you sure all of the bankers are conservative, or just most of them, some of them, many of them? Then in case it's many of them, most of them, but not all of them, then we just use some. And it's best to use some bankers are conservatives, not all bankers are conservatives. Yeah. And then you see tip number 4, you translate all of the singular statements as on or no. And the tip is you use on for the positive statements and you use no for negative statements. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see the examples here. And then, yeah, tip number 5, we have in fact, variants. Yeah, it means various forms of the standard form. Yeah, to make it easy for you. So you can see on SRP, this is a standard form, and we have many variants here, like every S is a P, like every dog is an animal. Then you can write the standard form like all dogs are animals. Or whatever is an S is a P, like whatever is a lemon is a fruit. Then the standard form should be all lemons are fruits. Yeah, we learned this already, right? And also we have the variants for no SRP, some SRP, and also some S are not P. Yeah, so this is what we focus on last time. You can see now we have, yeah, the background in order to go to categorical and syllogism. Now, so let's talk about this. So a syllogism is a 3-line deductive argument, yeah, that consists of 2 premises and a conclusion. Something like this. You can see all the statements now are in the standard forms. We have no doctors are professional wrestlers. On cardiologists are doctors, and so no cardiologists are professional wrestlers. So you can see you have the categories now. Yeah, doctors, professional wrestlers. You have no as a signal, and you have the verb to be. Okay, now we are going to use the Venn diagram in order to test validity. Yeah. So, how is it? Now, the Venn diagram, it consists of 3 overlapping circles, and each circle represents a term in the argument. And then we are going to see the relationship. Okay? Yeah. And how are we going to place the circles? We have 3 circles, right? So we place, 2 circles at the bottom and 1 circle on top. So 2 Venns at the bottom and 1 Venn on top. Then it comes a question. So which circle is at the bottom and which circle is on top? Because we have 3 categories, we have 3 Venns. Is it right? Yeah. Then the first thing is that you have to look for the conclusion. The conclusion begins with, so, therefore, as a result. Yeah, but we always have, so or therefore here. Then look at the conclusion first. And you can see the conclusion. No cardiologists are professional wrestlers. Then the subjects, the subject term of the conclusion says on the left hand side at the bottom. So bottom left. And then the predicate term, professional wrestlers, the predicate term in the conclusion, it is on the bottom right. Cardiologists here and professional wrestlers here. And then we have just one more. We put it just on top. I know that according to logic, you can put it depends on you. You can put maybe cardiologists here and professional wrestlers here. It depends on you. However, in this course and in IU, we tend to have this rule. Then it can be easy because everybody does so. Then you do it. Then it's easier for the teachers when they just check your answers. Then we say according to logic, it depends on you. Doctors can be on the bottom left. Doctors can be on the bottom right. Okay. However, we just put it this way in IU. Then we focus on the conclusion and the subject of a conclusion, bottom left. The predicates of a conclusion, bottom right, and the other term on top. Okay, now, so it's time and we are going to check, validity. We are going to show relationships. And let's see how we are going to do it. Then you can see that in order to make it easier for you to understand, I will just illustrate how we are going to have the Venns, how we are going to show relationships. And I'm going to draw the Venn here as well for you to see. For example, I'm going to draw, let's see, I will draw a Venn, I'll have this white, this one white. And we are going to have this. Okay, so I'm going to draw a Venn or a circle, right? Here, something like this. We have one. And then I will put it, let's see, it should be no fill. And then I just have another one. Okay, and then I have, let's see, I just copy, and we have so now I'm going to draw a Venn. I draw a circle. It's something like this. I just put it white. So to begin, I just draw a circle, and then it should be blue. I love blue. And then I just copy that and I move it here. To begin with, I just draw a circle or a Venn. And then I just copy this. I have another Venn. I put it here. Yeah, I forget to put it transparent. It's the same thing for this one, transparent. And then I just copy to have one more. Yeah, it should be like this, and I move to the top. Okay, so now you can see we have 3 vents. Then it's like, you know, cardiologists here, professional wrestlers here, and doctors here, right? Now for the first one, let's say no doctors are professional wrestlers. Yeah, sorry, I need to flatten this. Yep. And then we just make a copy. Okay, now, so we can see no doctors are professional wrestlers. Doctors here, professional wrestlers here. No doctors are professional wrestlers. It means we are going to shade the area. I'm going to shade area 1, 2, or 3. Then you can see I just have this. Okay, and then I choose a color. Example, I love this color. Yes, you can see I shade area number 2. Then you can see doctors here and professional wrestlers here. Then no doctors are professional wrestlers. Okay, it's something like this, right? Now let's go to the second, statement. All cardiologists are doctors. Cardiologists here, right? Okay, yeah. Cardiologists here, and then doctors here. Then all cardiologists are doctors. All, it means we are going to shade which area? We are going to shade this area and answer this area. It means area number 1. Is it right? Okay. Then you can see we have some cardiologists here. And answer, yeah, all cardiologists here. And they are doctors. Right? And you can see it's something like this. Yeah. And then we go to the last, the conclusion. For the conclusion, we don't have to draw or shade. We just look and check and decide whether it's valid or invalid. Then you can see here, no cardiologists are professional wrestlers. When we have a look at this, no cardiologists are professional wrestlers. We also have the overlapping part here, and in fact, so this is empty. Shaded, it means empty. Is it right? Then the answer is it is valid. Okay? Yeah. Is that clear, everybody? Now, let's go to another example. Then we are going to just put it here, and we have another layer. Okay, now so let's go to another example. Now each snake is a reptile. All reptiles are cold-blooded, so snakes are cold-blooded. What is the first thing we do? We have to translate into the standard forms. Is it right? Then you can see it's going to be something like this. All snakes are reptiles. All reptiles are cold-blooded animals. So all snakes are cold-blooded animals. And then you can see this is the conclusion. Then all snakes here, bottom left, and cold-blooded animals, bottom right, reptiles on top. Now let's go with all snakes are reptiles. Now all snakes here, reptiles here, all snakes are reptiles. So we are going to shade area. Which area? All snakes are reptiles. Then we just shade area number 1. Is it right? Yeah, something like this. Clear, right? And then we go to the second statement. All reptiles are cold-blooded animals. Reptiles here, cold-blooded animals here. All, it means we are going to shade area number 1. Is it right? Yeah, that is something like this. Right? And then we go to the conclusion. So all snakes are cold-blooded animals. Snakes, cold-blooded animals. We have just this area. Now all of the snakes are here. And the snakes, they are also cold-blooded animals. Then this is valid. So easy. It is not difficult, is it right? Yeah, we have done 2 examples with on and no. What about some? Have a look at this. Okay, like we have here, let's have the sentence, the argument with some Baptists are coffee lovers, all Baptists are Protestants. So some Protestants are coffee lovers. Wow, if you just read and think about the logic, it could be hard, is it right? Yeah. Then we can use the Venn diagram to check, and it makes it much easier. Yeah, it can just get away the headache. Then you can see at the beginning we still place Protestants, because that's the subject of the conclusion. Bottom left, coffee lovers, bottom right, and Baptist on top. How are we going to do it? Yeah, so now we need to diagram the premises with on or no first. I will give you the reason later, but just remember to diagram the premises with on or no first. And then you place an X, I say in the unshaded area. X, what does it mean? X is for some. Okay, so remember, for the with some, we just look for the X. We just see the X, the letter X. So put X in the unshaded area. And you can see, when you can see there is a line, okay, it means 2 places like this are unshaded. Then the X is going to be on the line. Now we are going to just Check it out. Now, something like this. Okay, this is the X on the line. Now, let's do with the first example. So I'm going to, yep. Then you can see, we have some Baptists are coffee lovers, all Baptists are Protestants. You have the second premise, that's on. Then we do, and we diagram the second premise first. Now on Baptists are Protestants. Baptists here, Protestants here. Okay, on, it means we are going to shade area number 1. Right? Then on Baptists here, they are also Protestants. Like this. Yeah. And then let's go to, with some. Now, some Baptists are coffee lovers. Then for the word some here, you can see, Baptists here, coffee lovers here. So you have this area and this area. We say Protestants. No, sorry, coffee lovers. Then the X should be here. Yeah. And then now we go to the conclusion. So some Protestants are coffee lovers. Some Protestants are coffee lovers. It means we look for the area number 2. Some, it means we look for the X. And you can see the X here. You can see the X here. It means, wow, we have at least one member of the Protestants here. And of course, this is the overlapping area. Then this Protestant is also the coffee lover. Then is it valid or invalid? Valid. Because you can see the X. Remember when you check validity, with the conclusion with X, you have to look for the X. Because X symbolizes members. There is at least one member. Okay, now let's go to another example. No Democrats are Republicans. Some lifeguards are Republicans. So some lifeguards are not Democrats. Now you have two, statements with some. So now let's check this out, and we are going to see, make it easy for you to see. Now again, we focus on conclusion. So lifeguards, bottom left, Democrats, bottom right, and Republicans on top. Then we continue, we begin with what? Which premise are we going to diagram first? The first one, no, all no goes first. Is it right? Now, no Democrats are Republicans. Democrats here, Republicans here. No, it means we are going to shade area number 2. So no Democrats here are Republicans, right? Then we are going to shade this area. Something like this. And it's going to be like this. Quite easy, is it right? Now, what about we go to the second premise? Some lifeguards are Republicans. Then you can see lifeguards here, Republicans here. Then some are Republicans. It means overlapping. Where do you put that? Here? Or here? Or here? Some lifeguards are Republicans. The X should be here. And then we have the conclusion. So, some lifeguards are not Democrats. Lifeguards here, Democrats here. We say are not. It means we look at area number 1. Is it right? Now, area number 1, do you see the X? Then if you see the X here or the X here, when you see the X here or the X here, then it's good. So this is valid. Yeah, are not Democrats. It means, yeah, not Democrats here. Is it right? Then you see the X, yeah, when it's here or it's here, it is okay. Not difficult. Is it right? Let's go to another example. Yeah, this one. Okay. Then see, we are going to have another diagram to make it easy for you to see. Yep. Now, all painters are artists. Some magicians are artists. So some magicians are painters. Wow, it's a headache if we just think about the meaning, right? Don't think about the meaning, just do it with events. Yeah. Then you can see for the conclusion, magicians, bottom left, painters, bottom right, and then we have artists on top. Which one do we diagram first? All painters are artists, or some magicians are artists? We do with the first one, on or no. Now, painters, artists. Okay? When we say all painters are artists, painters here, artists here, we are going to shade all painters are artists. Then we shade area number 1. Right? Okay. Easy? Super easy. Yeah. You did it last time already. Now we just, yeah, put them together. Now, let's go with some. Some magicians are artists. Magicians here, artists here. Wow. This is the case. When we say some magicians are artists, what does it mean? Yeah, magicians and artists. You can see the area. Is it right? Yeah. So we are going to, you can see it is unshaded. Then we are going to put the X on the line like this. When the X is on the line, what does it mean? When you see the X on the line, what does that mean? Yeah. Example, yeah, you have, sorry. So you have the X here. Yeah, the X is on the line. What does it mean? When the X is on the line, it means there are 3 situations. Yeah. When the X is on the line, the first situation is that, yeah, we have some members here. It means the X can be here. There are some members on the left. Yeah, maybe at least one magician or maybe many magicians on the left. But there are no magicians on the area on the right. That's the first case. It means the X, there are members here, but not members here. In the second situation, yeah, the X will be here. We have some members here, and we have no members here. Right? Yeah. And situation number 3, we have members here and members here as well. Is it right? Logical. logical. Then just say, for example, let's say we took Vietnamese a little bit. Giả sử bây giờ ở quận Gò Vấp đi, nói ví dụ đi, có 2 phường là phường 5 và phường 4. Đây là quận Gò Vấp, đây là phường 5, đây là phường 4. Ok, bây giờ thầy nói quận Gò Vấp có một số người bị nhiễm Covid. Bây giờ một số người bị nhiễm Covid đó, nó cũng giống như là mình đặt một chữ X ở đây. Nói chung ở quận Gò Vấp. Vậy thì có nghĩa là gì? Một số người đó có nghĩa là gì? Thầy chỉ nói là quận Gò Vấp có một số người bị nhiễm Covid. Vậy thì có khả năng cái số người nhiễm đó nó nằm ở quận mấy? Nó nằm ở phường 4. Nhưng phường 5 không có sao hết. Nhưng mà cũng có một khả năng những người bị nằm ở phường 5 hết. Phường 4, khỏe re, không có sao hết. Nhưng mà cũng có khả năng cái số người bệnh đó họ scattered ở cả phường 4 và phường 5. Số lượng bao nhiêu ở mỗi phường mình không biết. Bởi vì critical thinking chỉ cần có một member thì được coi như là sum rồi. Một và nhiều không có gì khác biệt. Okay, so we get back to this one. This is how you need to understand the meaning of the X on the line, because many students, they have problems with this. Then you can see some magicians are artists. The X is here. Now the last statement, we see the conclusion. So some magicians are painters. Some magicians are painters. We look at this area. We look for the X. Is it right? So do you think that is valid or invalid? So now the X is on the line. Again, we are going to see 3 situations. In the first situation, when the X is here, but no X here. When you can see the X in this area, valid. Good. The second situation, the X is in both areas. It means we also have the X here. Then, answer valid. Good. What about the third situation? In the third situation, the X is here, but we don't have the X here. When we don't have the X here, is it valid? It's not valid. It's invalid. And you can see we have 3 situations. 2 situations are right. 1 is not right. Then for the whole argument, it is not totally correct. It is not totally valid. Only 1 single situation is not right. It means there can be another possibility. So this is invalid. Be very careful. This is a trick. Not really a trick, but many students, make mistake with this. Okay, now let's go to this one. So no scientists are toddlers. All physicists are scientists. So some physicists are not toddlers. Easy now. So physicists, bottom left, toddlers, bottom right, and scientists on top. Now, no scientists are toddlers. Scientists, toddlers, no. You shade this area. Should be easy right now. Okay? Now, all physicists are scientists. Physicists, scientists. On, you shade this area. Now, we go to the conclusion. So some physicists are not toddlers. Sum. I have told you already. When you have sum, we look for what? Look for the x. Yeah. Do you see the x in this area? We only have some physicists here, according to the theory. They are outside the group of toddlers. But do you see the x? X represents sum. You don't see the x here. When you don't see the x, it means this argument is invalid because we don't see the x. Easy? Not so difficult, but we have to be very careful. In the exam, okay, if we have the exam online, we don't ask you to shade. Yeah, previously when we did the exam, I say face to face on papers, then we just give you the argument. An argument is standard form. An argument is not in the standard form, and you have to translate into the standard forms. And then you have to draw the three vents like this, and you have to name the vent as well according to this rule. Subject of the conclusion bottom left, and predicate of the conclusion bottom right, the other term on top. Like this one. And then you are going to shade, or you put the x. And then finally you also decide whether it's valid or invalid. Remember, in the exam, if we do face to face, on paper, you don't have to draw, I say, an arrow like this. I just draw the arrow, in class to make it very clear and easy for you to see. I just want to explain why. But in the exam, you just write valid or invalid. Yeah. Now, in case we have the online exam, and I guess it's a very high possibility that you are going to do the online exam for the midterm. In this case, you don't have to draw, but we are going to give you many options. For example, we give you this argument, and then we give A, B, C, D. Yeah, like A and B and C and D. And then we just shade in different ways that you have to understand. Sometimes, so A and B are exactly the same, like this, but A invalid and B, I say valid. Then you can see you have to understand, the different steps in the process. The first step is to place, okay? The vent in the appropriate place. The second step is to, you need to shade the correct area or put the X in the correct area. Right? And then finally, looking at the overlapping areas, the shaded areas, the X, the relationships of the premises. And you have to decide whether it's valid or invalid. So I say it's not difficult. It's the opportunity for you to gain scores. Many points. But you have to be very careful. Then, so here are some of the reminders on using the Venn diagram. Practice makes perfect. There are many exercises, in the material, and you should do it in order to be familiar to the way you do it. You are going to love it, I'm sure. And remember, when the arguments are not in the standard form, you have to put your syllogism in the standard form first. Be consistent in how you draw your diagram, and you do with on or no statements first, and then you do with some. And try to test validity by looking for the necessity for the conclusion. Okay? Always remember, on or no. You look at the X, you look at the shaded or unshaded areas. For some, you look for the X. Okay? Is that easy, everybody? Quite easy. Is it right? Yeah. So I guess you need to do all of the exercises. Yeah. And then we also have, I say for this lesson, for this chapter, we have a quiz. But I'm going to delay the quiz until next time when we see face to face. Okay? And we just, check some more exercises for you to get familiar to this. Remember, we also have, assignment number 1 before the midterm. And for assignment number 1, we also have this, the Venn diagram. Then Venn diagrams appear in assignment number 1 and in the midterm exam. Okay? Yeah. I can see. Yeah, so that's everything for the basic, for the guidelines on how to draw and how to test validity using Venn diagrams. Just practice, and if you have any questions, just contact me via any channels. Okay? So thank you very much, everybody, and goodbye.